Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live, you're watching News 6 at noon.
Now at noon, one of the owners charged in connection to the dog mauling death of a young boy is facing a judge today. The latest on the hearing in minutes. But first, Florida's Attorney General making a big announcement this morning when it comes to political threats in the state. Flagging threats before something happens. Florida's Attorney General was in Orlando this morning to launch a new system to try to stop political violence. Mark Lehman explains how it will work.
Florida's Attorney General meeting here at Valencia College's West Campus, where he announced a new tool to report threats of violence. It's something he says is important for protecting lives and protecting the rule of law.
It's important for us to come out and protect a free market of ideas.
Attorney General James Othmeier says the state is launching a resource in response to what he says is a nationwide escalation of political violence. Less than 2 weeks after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Florida has opened a combat violent extremism portal.
But there's a big difference when it comes to a threat of violence, a call for violence. That is not protected by the First Amendment.
Othmeier says the goal is for people to report any planning or threats of violence. Through the portal, someone can upload video, images, and text messages.
It'll allow us to work with law enforcement to get the appropriate evidence that we need immediately.
Meanwhile, Florida's education commissioner says he's also been investigating teachers who have posted messages celebrating Kirk's assassination. His office is pursuing charges against a teacher in Clay County for her comments, which he says encourages violence.
Let me be clear, this is completely unacceptable and it will not be tolerated. As these posts continue to circulate, more and more students are exposed to the dangerous and false idea that violence is an acceptable response to differing beliefs.
Florida's education commissioner said there are teachers here in Central Florida who they are looking into after making posts following the Charlie Kirk assassination. He would not, however, go into specifics of those, citing an ongoing investigation. For now, reporting in Orlando, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Take a live look outside now. Look at that. This is a gorgeous shot from our camera in Daytona Beach, where we are enjoying a lot of sunshine, warm temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is standing by. Candace, fall officially arrives this afternoon. Along with that, that means the tropics are busy.
Right. And, you know, as Florida does, it's officially fall and it's going to feel more like summer. More like summer than it has in a couple of weeks. All right, let's talk about the tropics, because this is also heating up, this map here. We are watching major Category 3 Hurricane Gabrielle. We had an intermediate advisory at 9 a.m., a special advisory that increased the sustained winds to 120 miles per hour. A little further to the south and east, we're still watching two different waves, one with a 40% chance of development, the other one with a 70%, as they all drift closer towards, more towards the west-northwest. Latest update from Hurricane Gabrielle, you can see sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. Still has a very small window of gaining even more strength to a Cat 4, and then a gradual weakening trend as it moves into the northern Atlantic. Besides Gabrielle, that's really not going to be a concern for us. It will stay out to sea. It's wave number 1 and 2 that we are going to be watching pretty closely. The steering pattern is still not a guarantee at this point. Models continue to fluctuate a lot with these two systems, and it's all going to be dependent on where this trough, this kind of jet stream digs. If it digs far south enough, it'll bounce these two waves right back out to sea. If not, we could be dealing with some sort of tropical activity by this weekend, most likely early next week. We're going to be talking more about your rain chances, the tropical moisture already in place, and of course, a little more on the tropics coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, Candace, thank you. This just into our newsroom. News 6 has just learned UCF football offensive line coach Shawn Clark has died. The university made the announcement within the last hour. They say Coach Clark died last night at the hospital unexpectedly with his wife next to him. We told you earlier this month he was admitted to the hospital after experiencing a medical emergency. With decades of coaching experience, Coach Clark joined UCF in December of last year. He leaves behind a wife and their 2 children. In Volusia County, a man died after being hit by a car while standing next to his broken down vehicle. This happened last night just before 9 near International Speedway Boulevard and Red John Drive. That's close to Daytona Beach. The Florida Highway Patrol says the man was partially blocking the outside lane when a Ford F-250 hit him. He died at the scene and the driver and passenger stayed. The crash is under investigation. Police in Melbourne arrested a man accused of shooting someone after a domestic argument. It happened Saturday evening near Dartmouth Avenue and Forest Drive. That's across the street from Florida Tech. Police say 22-year-old Quentin Mosquero ran after the shooting but later turned himself in. The victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. Mosquero is charged with aggravated battery with a firearm. Today, a court hearing in Volusia County is expected to draw strong emotion. For the first time, one of the women charged in connection to the dog mauling death of 8-year-old Michael Millett will face a judge. Our Volusia County community correspondent Angie Casada is at the DeLand Courthouse with the latest on the case.
Yeah, Amanda Franco, one of those dog owners, is going to be appearing before a judge later on today for her pretrial hearing. And she waived her arraignment earlier, unlike the other suspect, Brandy Hodel, who was arraigned earlier this month. Michael's family tells News 6 they will be here, hoping to see justice begin to take shape. Back in January, 8-year-old Michael Millett was riding his bike in his DeLand area neighborhood when he was mauled to death by 2 dogs that got loose from a nearby home. Both dogs were euthanized. Deputies say both owners, Franco and Hodel, not only failed to control their pets, but try to cover up their responsibility.
She knew when those dogs killed Michael, she knew if the cops got a hold of those messages, was grass.
Detectives say Franco deleted her Facebook account while Hodel erased messages and searched how to deactivate her page. Neighbors later turned over screenshots showing a history of the dogs roaming and attacking other animals.
There were other people who notified both Amanda and Brandy through social media on the public pages that their dogs had been out running at large.
Under state law, Franco faces a second-degree misdemeanor for the attack. Both women also face felony charges of tampering with evidence. Today's pretrial hearing is expected to be short, but for Michael's family, just seeing this case move forward is a step towards accountability. Reporting in DeLand, I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Angie Casava, News 6.
News 6 has obtained a copy of the letter sent to Universal Orlando team members after the death of a guest who rode the Stardust Racers roller coaster. In the letter, President and COO of Universal Orlando Resort, Karen Irwin, said in part, "Our hearts are with our guests' family and loved ones, and with all of you who have been impacted by the tragic loss." She also added the ride functioned as intended. Last Wednesday, 32-year-old Kevin Zavala died after riding Stardust Racers, with the medical examiner's office saying Zavala suffered multiple blunt impact injuries. Investigators say he had a pre-existing spinal injury, and the ride's safety guide does warn that it is not for guests with back or neck conditions. The ride has not reopened since. President Trump says his administration will make a major announcement about autism and what may cause it. There are reports federal health officials plan to tie it to the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy. Acetaminophen is the active ingredient in Tylenol. As CBS's Natalie Brand explains, medical professionals are pushing back and worry about the impacts on expectant mothers.
I think we found an answer to autism.
President Trump has teased what he's calling a major announcement on autism in the U.S.
It's out of control. Autism, out of control.
Earlier this month, the Wall Street Journal reported the administration is expected to suggest acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol taken during pregnancy, and low levels of folate among the potential causes of autism.
The best evidence does not show an association between Tylenol and autism.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
The best recent study looked at 2.5 million kids from Sweden. They used sibling comparisons to factor out genetic factors and other factors, and they found no increase in risk in autism, ADHD, or other intellectual disabilities for pregnant women who used Tylenol during pregnancy.
Ahead of the White House announcement, the company that owns Tylenol is pushing back and says it's worried about consumer confusion and the impact on expecting mothers. In a statement saying, "We believe independent sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism." Experts say failing to treat medical conditions that warrant the use of acetaminophen, like a high fever while pregnant, could be far more dangerous.
If you have a high fever during pregnancy, that can cause neurodevelopment issues in the baby, so you don't want to let that fever go untreated.
The Washington Post also reports the Trump administration plans to promote a drug derived from folate called leucovorin as a potential autism treatment. Doctors say there may be evidence it can help a subset of autism patients who have a folate-related defect with speech and communication. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The city of Orlando is looking to ramp up traffic safety across dozens of intersections. Coming up, we'll tell you how many red light cameras could be added and how much running a red light could cost you. We'll leave you with a live look from our Mount Dora camera on this Monday, the first day of fall. You're watching News 6 at noon. We'll be right back.
Introducing the new $25 million Gold Rush Multiplier Scratch-Off from the Florida Lottery.
The city of Orlando reports that in 1 year, it was able to take home $4.2 million in revenue from red light camera tickets. And they can now potentially use just over $1 million from that same revenue to add 35 more cameras. Have you ever gotten a red light camera ticket?
Yes, they just got one in the mail.
Serenity Brown is one of the thousands who've been captured by a red light camera.
It was depressing because I have other bills to pay besides that one.
Each ticket costs $158 and goes up to $262 if it isn't paid after the first notice.
I really think that red light cameras shouldn't be allowed.
Between July 2024 and June 2025, the city of Orlando issued 60,433 violations. A total revenue of $7.6 million that's then split up between the state and Orlando. The City Beautiful took $4.2 million, while the state got $3.4 million.
Right now, there are 45 red light cameras at 25 intersections, which the city reports amounts to less than 5% of intersections in Orlando. But the council is considering adding 35 more.
City staff report the cameras are only at intersections where data has proven an increased safety risk.
I think it's necessary. Every time it gets more traffic, and I think we get distracted with our phones and things going on in the car, and I think it's necessary to save lives.
For Joseph Sutera, keeping people safe on the roads is worth citing those who run a red light.
I think that once you know there is a red light camera and you're you drive more careful.
The council will have the first reading for the ordinance to potentially add more red light cameras today. And if you want to share your opinion, there will be a public hearing on the topic during the meeting as well. Reporting in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Time to get you to your forecast. Look at this shot. This is our Lunch Credit Union camera out at the port, looking like a lovely Monday. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is standing by. And Candace, you have a lot we need to know about. You're tracking the tropics. Fall arrives in just a few hours, less than 2 hours. I can't wait.
Right around the 2 o'clock hour, fall officially begins, which means absolutely nothing here in Central Florida. We'll do the actual opposite. It has been feeling a little more like fall over the past couple of days, but we're going to ramp up the heat, the humidity, the rain chances, all of it, as things will turn a bit more unsettled throughout the rest of the week. So for today, though, rain for some. We had a relatively dry weekend. We'll have a soggier Tuesday. So today kind of falls right in between the two, with scattered showers across our southern half, drier the further north. Then as we head into Tuesday, rain chances do surge up to about a 60% chance, a little bit more of a widespread chance for some of those quick moving downpours as temperatures once again start feeling more like the triple digits. It's going to take some time for us to finally start to feel the fall-like weather. And of course, as Julie just mentioned, we are watching a major hurricane now, Hurricane Gabrielle, and 2 other waves. I'm really going to want to touch upon one of the waves, as that one could get a little closer than we would like. And I'll explain why in just a second. So here's kind of the wide view, satellite and radar composite. You can see there goes that little disturbance down to our south. That's going to lift up to the north. We got all this moisture out over the Gulf. Everything's going to collide right over Central Florida by tomorrow, and that's why rain chances will start to climb upwards at about 60 to 70%. Now, temperatures out the door right now, it is warm already, feeling like the low 90s, so it won't take much to feel close to 100 degrees today. 90 is our temperature in Titusville, 87 in the Villages, 83 in Palm Coast. At this point in time, we are looking mostly dry, but again, our best shot for rain will go from Orlando southward. Let me show you the rain chances for today. Only down to about 20 to 30, pretty much from Seminole County northward. But from Orlando, Osceola, parts of Brevard County, your rain chances are a little higher as moisture will be kind of creeping in from the south. Let me show you here. Clouds and rain futurecast showing a better chance for rain and scattered showers. We can't completely rule out some rain pushing a little further north than Orlando today, but not extremely widespread. Now, with that being said, some of these will be some heavy downpours at times, with a couple of coastal morning showers early Tuesday. Then on Tuesday afternoon, we'll have that east and west coast sea breeze. You can see them kind of lining up nicely. And once they collide around 5, 6 o'clock, we will have the chance, though, of getting some of those after-school games and practices delayed or canceled because of some of those heavier downpours, possibly some lightning embedded within this, as most of the rain kind of works its way through the area by about 9 o'clock on Tuesday. Then rain chances kind of balance back out to about 50% throughout the rest of the work week. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
Our high today, 92 degrees. Our rain chance is still about 40%. But I do want to fast forward the clock here because we're going to be watching the progress of our next cold front. Not just because we want a cold front to come in and dry us out and make things feel like fall, but because this cold front, 1, could dry us out. Or 2, if it stays too far to the north, it will give just enough of a little window for this first wave that we were watching to make its way a little closer towards the coast. If not, this cold front clears, it'll bounce that area of low pressure out to sea. So with that being said, the steering pattern is not really nailed down just yet. Models are really having a hard time kind of figuring out where those next 2 waves are going to go. So make sure to stay tuned to News 6, clickorlando.com, because we're going to continue to give you the very latest as those trends become a little more aligned. Julie.
Okay, Candace, thank you. A ready-to-eat seafood product sold at Costco's across more than half the country is being recalled. Coming up, when it was sold and why you need to throw it away. If you recently bought ready-to-eat seafood from Costco, listen up. More than 3,000 pounds of the Kirkland Signature Ahi Tuna Wasabi Poke are being recalled due to a potential listeria contamination. The recalled products have a sell-by date of September 22nd. That's today. They were sold at Costco deli stations September 18th in more than 30 states, including Florida. The FDA says Anacea Foods Group initiated the recall after a supplier announced the green onions used in the product tested positive for listeria. No illnesses have been reported so far. Consumers should throw the product away and contact the store for a full refund. UCF made a big announcement this morning. The university has reached the state's preeminent research university designation. The university president shared the news at the Board of Trustees meeting, calling it a part of their Unleashing Potential strategic plan with bold goals. One key milestone was hitting almost 64% on the four-year graduation rate, surpassing the 60% minimum required.
At a university of more than 70,000 students, this kind of progress is nearly unprecedented. And what makes that even more special is that here at UCF, we've never been about chasing benchmarks. We were founded to fuel the space race, and we have grown into Florida's premier provider of engineering and technology talent.
President Alexander Cartwright says the metrics have to be verified by the Board of Governors before the UCF Board of Trustees can approve it in April. After that, UCF will officially be designated as a preeminent research university. Try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Matt and Ginger have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Then go in depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas at 9:30. Then watch the late news an hour earlier. It is all tonight on News 6 Plus. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, as we get results here with the next couple of days, fall again officially begins in just a few hours, and it will certainly be feeling more like summer. We are watching for the possibility that maybe, just maybe, come Saturday and Sunday, we'll be watching the approach of a cold front. Right now, models are not going too crazy about it, unfortunately, but it is a front we're going to be watching to help maybe protect us from some tropical activity. We will have the latest model runs later on today.
Sounds good, Candace. Thank you. Switch over to News 6 Plus right now to watch News 6 Extra. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.